Hey everybody. So today has actually been a pretty active day trade-wise in the NHL. There's been 3 trades today, nothing major, but teams are obviously trying to set their rosters for the start of the season on Wednesday. Teams are moving kind of depth players around, and it's actually been all defensemen, depth defensemen being moved. But there's been 3 separate deals today, which are obviously teams making a last-ditch attempt to get the roster that they want before the start of the season. So, first up here we have Edmonton trading Jakub Jerabek to St. Louis. Again, Jerabek is a depth defenseman, borderline NHL, AHL guy, to St. Louis for a 2020 6th-round draft pick. So obviously Jerabek didn't do anything in Edmonton to make them want to keep him, get him on the opening night roster. So they moved him for a 6th-round pick to St. Louis. Dallas has acquired Carrick from Toronto for a 2019 7th-round pick. Carrick was a guy who was supposed to have a chance to be an everyday player in Toronto. Obviously he did not impress in the preseason, and the Maple Leafs are moving on from him. That's interesting because Toronto's defense is already shaky, to say the least. Certainly the biggest problem on that team is their defense. So seeing them move Carrick, who plays a position they're already very thin at, is an interesting move and shows just how much they did not like what they saw from him in training camp. So Carrick is now in Dallas, where he'll likely be a 7th defenseman, or maybe even sent down to the minors. And then lastly, Montreal has acquired defenseman Brett Kulak from the Calgary Flames for 2 probably AHL defensemen, Matt Tormina and Rinat Valiev. So obviously Kulak was a guy who did play in the NHL last year up with Calgary, and can be a top 6 guy in the NHL, a bottom pair guy, but in the top 6. So he's going to get a chance to play in Montreal, especially with how bad their defense core currently is. He's going to be an everyday player. Valiev and Tormina are probably going to the minors in Calgary, but we'll have to wait and see for sure. So 3 trades today, all pretty minor. But I figured the fact that we have this much movement all on the same day is worth talking about. And all defensemen, everyone, all of these moves involve defensemen. So teams are obviously trying to move depth defensemen around and get, if they have extra depth defensemen like Edmonton and Toronto, even though I wouldn't say Toronto has extra depth defensemen, but they're moving guys and trying to get something back in return, draft picks in these cases. And then Kulak was a guy who was going to be borderline in the lineup in Calgary, will probably definitely be in the lineup in Montreal, so they got a couple of prospects back in return for him. So just some interesting trades to talk about. I wasn't really expecting a lot of trade action this close to the start of the season, but teams are obviously making an attempt to set their lineups in their rosters where they want them before Wednesday. And we've seen a lot of guys on waivers the last few days, and I expect that to continue as teams cut their rosters down to 23. So a lot of movement right now in the NHL, and there's three trades that all happened today to talk about. So like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media, check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are down in the description. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing, almost to 250 subscribers, so let's get there. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.